Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everybody who's joined us today. A special thank you to the Inomi team. Both Nanni and I are really excited about collaborating with Inomi and helping your students get visas and consulting with them for their requirements of visas. So just to give you a little brief background, though Ankit has already introduced me, I've worked for a little under 10 years with VFS Global. And Nanni and I have actually collaborated to start off Showcase Visas and Immigrations. It would be about 3 or 4 months. So though we are nascent in terms of the company, but our expertise is certainly not nascent at all. And I have, imbibed everything that I know about visas from being within VFS Global and being part of the travel industry from the very inception of my career. Also, I want to say that what I bring and what Showcase brings most uniquely is the fact that I also was involved in doing background verification of documents that visa applicants provided as part of their application. So I think I am very uniquely positioned to be able to give you, effective advice on how to put your documents together, given that I know how the embassies and missions view applications and from what perspectives they view applications in order to arrive at a decision. So that said, I'll just take you through a very small presentation that I've made from Showcase, and then we can launch into the question and answer session. So do I have screen share rights, Ankit? Okay. Yes. Just give me a second. I'll just share my screen with you. So here it is. We're called Showcase Visas and Immigration, and we have 2 verticals. Sorry. Moving. Can you see my screen, Ankit?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have 2 parts to our services. One is visas, where we really provide expert advice and help you process end-to-end applications for visas from India, pan-India, to any location abroad. And the other part of our business is immigration and relocation, where we are actually partnered with 2 very renowned global immigration advisory firms. And we have a host of certified attorneys on board, and who, so if there's somebody who wishes to relocate abroad, we will take you through the entire process, provide you advice on what is most correct and suitable option to take, etc. And including once you've decided and you've applied and you've got your application through, we can also assist with settling the individual in their new place of residence. So why, I just want to create a link between visa processing and immigration and relocation, is that because we have a whole bunch of certified attorneys who we work with, we're also able to give you expert advice on how you can relocate post your tenure as a student in your country of destination, right? So that's the link. And also I'd like to say, like, for example, I'm now helping somebody process an application. She came to me because her visa was refused, her US visa was refused, but that was because she made an error in making full disclosure on her application form. There was some kind of, while she was a student in the US, there was a DUI offense, which she forgot to mention in her most recent tourist category visa. And because the US has records of each time you visit, especially in the last 10 years, and everything is recorded, she was asked to come to the embassy with her passport and went through a very difficult 2-minute interview, and then was given a refusal letter. So why am I mentioning this? It is because I now am seeking advice from an immigration certified attorney how to help her apply so that her application doesn't get refused again. So of course, while we can never say that every application that you make will not be refused, we don't take responsibility for the final decision that's made on your visa, but at least we can definitely put together your application in a manner that refusal is shouldn't be a reality. So from there, I take you to why then should you choose to apply with Showcase. So why should you choose our services? So one is, of course, as I said, we have extensive knowledge and expertise, not just me, but we are backed by a plethora of certified lawyers who we can whose advice we can take, of course, at an additional cost, but at least we have the options of doing that, unlike maybe other visa agents, as they would call themselves. So we will file your application and you will be in good hands. There'll be confidence and you've done it with ease because it's time of great anxiety. We, of course, customize and personalize all our relationships. It's always one-to-one because every applicant is unique. No applicant has the same kind of background. So for us, it's not, one brush paints all. Then, of course, as I've mentioned about the network of qualified attorneys, I'm not going to go into that again. And of course, we also end-to-end do hand-holding end-to-end. We are able to quickly put your documents together so that we can submit the applications early. And of course, our professional fees are reasonable given the kind of expertise we bring to the table. And we also have expertise in immigration and financial and business consultancy. So it's all linked. Once you've started the process of going as a student, you may want to stay on. So maybe if you're happy with our services, then you can continue to use our immigration expertise in your next requirement. So what is visa services with Showcase? It's, as I said, it's a one-stop solution for all your end-to-end requirements, and we make it faster, simpler, and more reliable. So we handle all kinds of visas seamlessly. We provide you assistance, so there's no hiccups along the journey. So we do visit visas, we do student visas, we do business visas. All of these are, of course, explained on my presentation, so I'm not going to go into the definitions of all of them. We also do long-term visas. So a lot of the student visas, especially in Europe, are considered long-term, as they would call D category national visas for places like Germany, for places like France, Italy, all of these places. These are all longer term visas. And we also help you with interview preparation. More often than not, most students may have to go through an interview. So we're happy to prepare you for the interview preparation, guiding you, grooming you, how you present yourself at the embassy, etc. So, you basically boost your confidence and your readiness for the final interview. So the focus, of course, today is on study visas, and we're very well versed in study visas. We have proven expertise in not just applying for a visa, but in terms of providing help with what the documentation is required for Indian students who wish to study abroad. So while I know all of you who are here know what a student visa is, but student visa is a separate category for those individuals wishing to pursue education abroad, right? That's the primary purpose of a student visa. So we must always get the category of visa that we're applying for correctly. That's the very first step. And of course, the student visa process, it kind of it changes from every mission, from every country to country. So of course, as I said, it can be a very daunting and a process of great anxiety. Even for me today, though I have traveled abroad extensively, but still when I apply for a visa, there is a kind of a stress level that builds. It's saying, oh, am I going to get it all right? Should I put all my documentation? I hope I got my documentation together and fill the online application form. So, and then of course, the stress of actually being given a visa. So most people go through this anxiety level irrespective of how much they have traveled, especially when you're filling out forms for the US, for the UK, Australia, Canada. Did you have to get it all right? So what will we showcase as a company do for you? Well, of course, the most important thing is that we'll hold your hand through the entire process and be beside you with every question that you want answered. We're there. We're always available for you. It's not that you buy our time in certain slots. If you've entered into a relationship with us, then we are there for you at whatever point of time you need us. We'll help you identify your visa type. We'll help you collate your documents. There is a visa checklist for every country, which we will help you navigate through. Sometimes it may be difficult to understand. We'll also help you fill your forms accurately so that, like I gave you the example of this young girl who hadn't filled her US visa form accurately. She was refused a visa. So we will ensure that something like that does not happen to you when you come to us. We will collate and put all your documents, forms, everything else you need. We will pay the fees on behalf of you where there is online submission of fees is possible, like especially with the US and the UK. We will assist you with submitting the entire application, whether it's online, but of course, if you have to go in person, a third party cannot go with you because more often than not, you have to give your biometrics. But we will put everything together. And all I can promise is that when you're inside the application center, you will be taken care of as a client of Showcase. That much I can promise you. That assurance I would definitely give you. And of course, I've mentioned about the interview preparation and guidance. This is what we will bring for you. Very quickly, how do you apply for a student visa? This is a very generic overview because every country has its own different norms. So one is to get to know the visa requirements. What is it? Get a confirmation from the university. Without an acceptance and a confirmation, we cannot even begin the process of application. We identify the kind of visa you apply for. Why do I say this? Because let's say, for example, in the US, there is F1 or there is J1 visas, which are also for technical students who are going there to do research, etc. Proof of acceptance that you have been accepted in the university of your choice. We will need that confirmation to begin your application. All the required papers to apply for your visa that need to come in from the university, like for the UK, it's the CAS. In Germany, you have the acceptance form that comes from the German universities, etc. And then to really just start with the basic application process, putting together your documents, etc. So this is how a very generic overview of how do you apply for a student visa when you decided to travel abroad. So what's most important? I thought I would add this slide because it's important to know, like Richa was saying, with your accommodation, you must give yourself enough time. Please do not apply for a visa last minute, because believe me, not just will you not get an interview to get an appointment, but you will not get your visa processed also. And no amount of writing to the embassy, no amount of writing to the consulate is going to get your visa fast-tracked. It's impossible to do that, especially now in COVID times when they're working with fewer slots and they're working with fewer people inside the mission. So Indians love traveling. So there are all kinds of visas that they're having to do. Student visa is just one part of that. So they have a gamut of visas that they're processing. So we must have enough time to apply. As I said, a visa can take anything from a few days to 2 months to process. So that, of course, will depend on the country that you're applying to. You have to clearly, through all your documents, demonstrate that the primary purpose of visit is to obtain an education and that you will return to advance your life in your home country. This is what the application has to clearly demonstrate. It will also need to clearly demonstrate that you will return to your home country within the period of authorized stay. So if it's a 3-year visa for the UK, then you have to demonstrate that you will return after those 3 years and you will not be misusing your student visa per se. Along the line, you may get a job legitimately and you will transfer your visa or change your visa status, but all legitimately following whatever the rules of visa applications are. Next, you have to really clearly demonstrate to the satisfaction of the visa officer that you have strong ties to the country of your residence. You have strong economic, social, and cultural ties that have to be demonstrated, that you have family, that you'll be coming back for the family. And most importantly, this point is always provide accurate information and do not omit crucial facts. I was approached by a particular child who did not have adequate documentation, and I was asked whether I would help in providing documentation in order to boost the application. Showcase is not certainly in the business of that. So we will only help you create genuine documents so that your entire application is one of absolute integrity. This is very, very crucial. And I've learned this through my many years of being attached and being part of the travel business. Yeah. So this is the other part of the business, immigration and relocation services, which is, as I said, we partnered with the full-bodied immigration global advisory firms. And so what do we do for immigration and relocation? There are all kinds of programs for permanent residency, residency by investment, global citizenship programs through investment. So we can help you identify if you wish to have one leg in India and another leg outside of India. We can help you choose the appropriate program, take you through the whole application form until you have received your PR or your residency cards. Yeah. So I'm not going to dabble in this too much. So these are the countries that we can provide services for immigration and relocation, just to name a few: UK, Canada, Australia. Great expertise on US H-1B visas, the USA Green Card Lottery, global residency programs for Portugal, Germany, Spain, Canada, USA, a host of them, and citizenship programs for Cyprus, Dominican Republic, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, Malta, Grenada. Grenada is the back-end entry to the US and many, many other countries across the globe. Yeah? So this is our team. That's me, and this is Nani. And the third person is Kerman Lalkaka, who is part of our global immigration advisory law firm. And of course, this is our contact details, which I'm sure Ankit and Richa will pass around to everybody who's interested. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Thank you.
Ankit, if you're saying something, we can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question from Priya.
Yes.
For you, Sharmila, which is
yes.
Keeping the exceptional situation of this year with grade 12 exam scheduled for May, results would come in by end of June or maybe beginning of July. In particular case of Germany, can we not make a preliminary application for the visa now and have 90% of it processed? The final stamp coming through once the results are declared, it is time saving. She's asking this.
One is that the entire application has to go in once for all at one time. And Priya, I know we discussed this earlier as well. And I had checked with the embassy in particular for your case. And for the bachelor's category, we need the midterm assessment result for proof to submit. That's absolutely essential. We can't do it without that. So did I get your question right?
Ankit? Yes, thanks. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, great. If anybody has any questions, please, you can write your questions in the chat box, or maybe you can raise your hands as well and speak up as well.
Sorry, Sharmila, may I just come in once right now?
Yes, Priya.
So with the case being the way it is this year, again, I'm focusing completely on student visas. So
Yes.
this would be a situation for each and every student visa, correct? That the results are going to come out by July, actually, first week July, which gives the children a window of, I would say, 7 weeks to be able to get their visas in place. And you see, without the visa, we can't apply for their accommodation.
Right. No, I understand that. It's not every mission or every country that requires you to provide the final results. You can provide your midterm assessments as well. There's no problem
But for the
about
CBSE
that.
bachas this year,
Yes.
the midterm results aren't out, right? CBSE hasn't declared them thus far.
Okay.
So
So
that
when
is
will CBSE
we
declare the
have
midterm?
we have no news on that. So ICSE has declared their midterm results, but CBSE hasn't. And chances are CBSE might want to declare term 1 and term 2 together.
So that would mean later this year?
This would be, yes, when it's together, it would typically, I assume, again mean end June or first week.
Is that midterm or is that the final term you're saying?
No,
How
this year the 12th board has been divided into 2 categories. So there's term 1 and term 2.
Okay.
And I know we could have put in this application basis our term 1 result, but since term 1 hasn't been declared by CBSE schools, so again, there's a wait and watch for that. So there is really no documentation that we have in place to be able to apply for these visas.
I think Richa is trying to say something.
Yeah. What I was saying is, Priya, that because this whole one term of CBSE thing is a very new thing this year. So I would imagine that putting in your half yearly results, which is your internal school results, should work. And we don't have to wait for the term 1. And, where it's critical there, at least, sort of expressing your interest in accommodation will itself be something that will, so long as you accept the admission, even if it's provisional to the results, then sort of expressing your interest in accommodation will at least put you in the pool of students who they know are considering on-campus accommodation. That's what you're mainly concerned about here, right?
Yes, but here this is not on campus. Here I'm talking off campus. Even to be able to apply for that, it is a challenge. It's becoming a chicken and egg situation. What do you want to tick mark first so that you can process the second part?
Yeah, but luckily, Priya, the accommodation which is off campus is not so limited, and it won't, especially in places, in European places, because, college will really only begin in September. So up till July, that availability will be there. What happens with on campus accommodation is that by like April end, on campus accommodation actually gets over. So that challenge is not there really with off-campus accommodation. I know it is still challenging, but at least it's the story is not over. It's something that would still remain open. I see where you're coming from, that you would like to process it earlier, but with the on-campus, the challenge would have been more. That's where the accommodation idea was coming from.
Okay. I also want to add here that for Germany, of course, it's one of the Schengen countries that allows you to apply 6 months in advance. But it's not every country that you apply 6 months in advance. It's like maybe 3 to 4 months in advance do you apply. So yes, I do understand, Priya, that the assessments are not there. Then we will give whatever assessment is available, and in our covering letter we will explain the situation. The mission has to be able to see it. If the government education body is not going to provide the final assessment documents in time, then we will explain that in the covering letter, and the embassy will for certain cross-check whether that information is correct. And when they find that it is correct, they will take a view based on that.
Anupma has a question. Anupma, would you like to
Yes,
Unmute
can I
yourself.
ask?
Yeah,
Thanks.
please go ahead.
So I just want to understand, I'm very new to all this student visa, though we have got a tourist visa there. So what is the trigger point for this student visa? Is it the acceptance letter from the university, or the child accepting the acceptance letter of a particular college and then getting the papers? Or is it after you get your 12th board results, then it starts? So when is the right time to start this process?
So thank you for asking that, Anupama. It's one of the most important trigger points, like you say. So we have to have the university acceptance. So like for the UK, let's say the CAS, which kind of tells you that you have been offered the place, and it tells you how much you have to pay, and you have to pay that amount, and you've paid and enrolled, etc. All of that has to have happened, at least the first part of it. So the university
So
acceptance
only
letter
after the child accepts and makes the initial payment, then we start ahead with the process.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think Shubhra also has a question, right? Shubhra?
Hi. Yeah, I think my question was similar. I mean, I just wanted a specificity beyond that. So for kids applying to the US and Canada, typically this would be known by mid of May, is my sense, even though the IB results will not be out. But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that that would be the appropriate time to reach out and start thinking through the visa process.
Yes, it would be, but before that, let's kind of, you can take a look at the checklist. If you like, we can speak, and we can help you through the process of putting things together. Once, of course, you have that final acceptance letter, which is absolutely mandatory as proof of admission. That is where we start from, because without that, you can't even start the application process.
All right.
But I will tell you that Canada is taking time to process visas, almost 2 months to give you visas. Now, so is the UK.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that, and this is just a question after the visa process, I'm guessing people are now booking their tickets after the visa, right? That's almost like a, or, because it's I won't say it's a gamble, but it's a bit of an uncertainty there, right?
Well, yes, they're not mandating tickets any longer. They're mandating an itinerary.
Okay.
But, we can help you with all of that. Please don't worry on that account. Tickets is the least of the problems.
Okay.
Right. So there are some questions here. Ankit, have you read these out?
Yes.
No.
There was one question, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
there's
ahead.
one question, which is, where are you based out of? Can we have your office address and contact details? Yes, I'll share those details with you.
Okay, thank you, Ankit.
Second question is from Twinkle. What are the major reasons for rejection of UK visa, and what is the current refusal rate? So Twinkle is she's applying for a postgraduate program in UK, and she has this question.
What kind of a program is she applying for?
She'll be applying for, if I may say, Twinkle,
Master's, postgraduate?
Yes, sir. Master's in fashion design, fashion management.
Okay. So I'm sorry, but you've got me there, Twinkle, in terms of what is the current refusal rate. I honestly speaking, I don't know that. But all I can tell you, Twinkle, is the reasons for refusal for any kind of visa is where, as I said on my slide, we have not demonstrated adequately that you will return to your home country, that you have social, economic, and cultural ties back in your home country. So if you come to us, Twinkle, I can help you. I can, it's going to be a case-on-case basis. I cannot generically or just tell you that your documentation is correct. I will need to have to talk to you, speak to you, understand your background, and then figure out how we can proceed with the application process, and why are you worried about that? So that I would need to understand better.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you,
pleasure.
Sharmila. Athriya has a question.
Hi,
Hi, Shoma. Just give me.
hi, and this is Shoma. Hi, this is Shoma.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, hi, Sharmila. I have a quick question. I do understand that we need to apply only after, the confirmation from the university comes. I'm talking about my son's postgraduate study in the UK. And of course, the initial payment has to be made only then the CAS document comes in. So how early do you think is good enough time for us to kind of start the whole process of sending that initial amount and then starting our documentation for the visa, so that we are all ready once the deadline of June 30th is upon us?
So current time that the UK is taking to process visas is 2 months. You will need to work backwards
Okay.
from that.
So, okay. So, but we can only apply for the visa once that confirmation letter with that the CAS, as they call it,
Absolutely,
will
yes.
come only after the 30th of June.
Yes,
Is what they said in
yes.
the
So
letter.
when so if I'm assuming then the course starts in September.
Yes, that's right.
So you have July, you have August.
Okay, so no panic buttons to press as of now.
Well, I will though warn you that now, since all they've lifted all kinds of restrictions into the UK, the number of applications, Indians applying to the UK, are on the rise every day.
Right.
So it is taking a long time. I know of somebody's visa who's taken them 3 months to get a visa. I know that the British High Commission here is absolutely swamped and they're working 7 days a week. So the sooner the better, of course, I would say.
Yes, but then it will be complete only when we get that letter from the university.
Yes.
Once initial payment has been made and the deadline of 30th June is over.
Yes, Shoma, but I think it's always advisable, and I think we've seen that through COVID, it's advisable to keep the, one hopes that the timelines will improve and that the processing of visas will become a little faster, but it's always good to keep the university informed that there could be a delay in joining. And I think all universities across the globe, especially for children coming from countries like India, are well aware of how long the visa process is taking. And it's not really something that is the fault of the child, So I would feel that that's a good way to go.
Okay, so one last question. Say, for example, if if we send in the initial payment in March, will we be getting an acknowledgement from the university as soon as we make the initial payment, or will they wait till 30th of June to send us some kind of acknowledgement?
So I'm going to leave Ankit and Richa to answer that.
Okay.
Sorry,
She's asking that if she did make her initial payment by March, would she still have to wait till June or July to get that confirmation?
Only in case it's a conditional admission. If the admission is not conditional, then you don't have to wait. Then you can go ahead and, complete the entire process. Then it's really about whether visa processes are open or they're not open. That's the only thing that would delay you.
It's open for 6 months from before, Shroma. And also, unlike other countries, UK, of course, has a fast track process as well. Of course, it is an additional payment of almost 23,000 rupees. But you do have that option if push comes to shove. But you would have to choose to buy that option at the time of application. It's not that you bunked your application in and you see it's taking a longer time and hence you then want to buy fast track. That is not possible.
Okay. So you have to decide whether you want fast track or not right in the beginning.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I get it.
So when you're ready to apply, Shoma, and if
Yeah.
you wish to use our services,
Yes.
I can let you know what the timelines
Sure. Sure.
are.
Sure.
Or I can also keep Ankit and Richa informed about
Right.
what the timelines are, and maybe
Yeah.
accordingly they can inform students
Sure.
and students' parents that, you know,
Sure.
it's now time to, UK is taking X amount of time, so please think of starting your processing your application, etc. You know, we could work that out, Richa. We could do that certainly. Yeah.
So
No,
and
definitely you can-
this kind of long time, you know, the kind of time that they're taking for processing the visa goes for tourist visas as well,
Oh yes. Oh yes.
if not longer, you mean?
So at 2 months approximately is what they are
Okay.
taking. Some have taken
Okay.
3 months also.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you know, we Indians love to go to the UK, so
Yeah,
we're
because if
giving them.
we want to accompany Shomak, you know, to to the UK. So we were wondering because and these are two different kinds of visas that we'll have to apply for. So
Yeah,
so ideally,
you can apply
what I
together, not a
yes,
problem.
exactly.
You can apply for your C category or the short category visa,
Yeah.
and we can, you know, can apply for your son student visas.
And we need to produce the tickets for them to kind of okay
No.
our visas? No,
No,
we don't.
not for UK. No,
Not for UK.
you just
Great,
have to
great.
give them intended dates of travel and how long you wish to stay there. That's all.
Right, wonderful, wonderful. So therefore, what I understand is the earlier I make the initial payment, the earlier I can start processing the visa.
I'm guessing. Yes, right.
Great, 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 great. Thank you, Sharmila. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. And I know you, Shoma.
Yes, I know you too.
Yeah, good. Yes.
In a different
Yeah.
forum.
Yes, absolutely. But it's a small world.
Yes, it is. I was very pleased to see that today you are going to give us this kind of information.
Happy
Thanks.
to. Happy to.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
From
Ankit can't hear you properly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Atira says, I have
Sorry, Ankit.
I'll read it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody here, Atriya here has asked, I have my acceptance letter plus I-20 digitally signed. When should I start for my US visa?
Now's a good time.
You know, then not why wait, right?
Yeah, especially I was going to add for US, it's very difficult to get appointments. So you must start as early as possible because US allows 6 months prior. So please start without any further delay. There are no F1 visa slots available till May. Yeah, if you try right now.
Oh my God, that's really concerning. So I would say that better get
Yeah, all US students should really, you know, get their act together, I think. Richa, you're mute, yeah.
Okay, there's another question here saying, and how much time for US visa after making the initial payment on acceptance? I guess you would be able to tell the time from the initial submission of paperwork.
Yes, the US takes hardly any time to process. They're taking about 7 to 10 days to process applications.
Right. So the delay is more about getting the appointment than about
Absolutely.
the actual processing time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Anybody else has any
Germany,
questions?
I just want to tell you about Germany too, especially for students who have under 90%.
Okay,
You know,
so I have a
in
question.
their masters, if there are any applications for masters, then the wait time for an appointment is very, very high.
Oh, all right. So you said under 90%
Yeah.
impacts the master students.
Yeah.
Does it
So,
impact?
sorry, bachelors, sorry. So if you have less than 90% in your class 12, or, you know, since this is a unique year, in your class 11, let's say, then the wait time to get an appointment, because you have to get the appointment will be at the embassy. Though you will apply, we will apply on the VFS website, but the interview it's a mandatory interview at the German embassy and or the German consulate if you are based out of Mumbai. But the wait time for that is agonizing. So
Okay, so 1 second. So you're saying this 90% in class 12. So students who are appearing in class 12 right now and won't get their grades till July or June. June pe nahi. I think it's going to be, could easily be July this year. So then they can start this process with their predicted grades or no?
as I said that, yes, they can.
They can, right. Okay, all right, cool. Perfect. Okay, Sharmila, I have one question here, which is,
Yes,
like
Richa.
someone asked about a rejection rate. Now, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that student visas don't get easily rejected, particularly for undergrad in these leading countries. Am I right?
Not really, as long as you have all your documents in place. Most important thing is, okay, so if you have, let's say, for example, any students who are going to Ireland, let's say, okay, if you have students who are wishing to study in Ireland,
Yes,
I
we do.
would, they have to buy a product called Check and Verify, which is VFS offers. It's an additional value-added service, but all students planning to apply to Ireland must purchase it. Otherwise, you just don't know how long your application will take to be processed. So what do they do in Check and Verify? They verify certain basic information on your application. So when your application is going to the Irish embassy, this information has been pre-verified and is available at the visa officer's desk. Okay, so to Richard, so to come back to answering that question of yours, it's so while depending on the background of your students, I'm not quite sure, but more often than not, they will, if they're being rejected or refused, it is because we have not adequately demonstrated the economic and social ties back in this country, or you are not being able to prove that your financial, whatever you're showing financially is not adequate. Now, for the US, that is not an option really, because for the UK, let's say, you have to have those funds 28 days locked up for 28 days. In Germany too, you have to have a blocked account. You have to show those funds, right? So those countries are different. But like, I think the refusal rates are much higher in Canada, where the view to looking at an application is very holistic. It's what you write in your SOP. It has to be connected to the program that you're doing. So you have to demonstrate that at the time of visa application too. It is not just at the time of getting an admission in the university. So the SOP is very important, that you demonstrate the link between what you've studied and what you're wishing to study, and explain that very, very well in your statement of purpose.
I see.
Very important. And then again, Canada looks at, for example, let us say, I have a family of 3 siblings, right? And I am applying to a Canadian university, and my father has taken out a loan for me, and I'm going sponsored by my father based on this bank loan that has been taken. The Canadian government is not just happy that you've demonstrated that you have funds. They want to see what is going to happen to your other 2 siblings as well. Is your father spending all the money on just you, and the other 2 may not get the kind of quality of education that your father is giving you? Because for them, the family matters. So there are many reasons why a visa can be refused. Many, many reasons.
Right. All right. Okay. Got that. So that's a sobering thought that one should have one's whole act together before you make the initial application, because it's back and forth is not something that really works, right? Okay. Wonderful. That's really enlightening. Anybody else with any other thoughts or questions, please feel free to put it over here or raise your hand. Else, Sharmila, you did have a slide with your contact details, did you?
Yes, yes.
So you can just share it again and people can take a screenshot, or if you can just put it in the chat or both, in the chat to everyone. Nani, maybe you can put the contact details there. And so that anyone who has any queries, I would say it's a very good idea to, there it is.
Yeah, there it is,
Set
Ankit.
up an
Thank you.
appointment and to go and meet them and then take it from there.
So our phone numbers are not here. Ankit, you can share that as well if you like. Yeah.
Should I? I'll just put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Sure,
share
I'll do
my
it.
phone number.
Just do it.
Great, Ankit. Wonderful.
Ankit, I'm just sending you another number as well. You can share that as well.
Sure.
Send it to you, Ankit. Any other questions? More than happy to answer.
All right. So I think, yeah.
Kapil, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very, very helpful, Sharmila. I think,
Richa,
yeah.
I'd just like to say something. Someone just asked about our address, and I said we have a Gurgaon and a Faridabad address. So depending on where the person is, as per the convenience, we can always set up the meeting. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So before we go into the thanks, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone. And I have to say that it's a fabulous opportunity. But yes, let's not sit back and wait for that right moment to come. Just get on with it, and get all your basics in place until, of course, the university confirmations come. Until then, get all the other back end ready so that you're ready to put in your papers as soon as that arrives. So thank you. I'm just going to keep quiet now and hand over back to you.
Right. No, guys, thank you so much. Thanks not only for giving us the information, but just the reassurance of meeting the two of you. I think for a lot of parents is very strong, because they're saying that, there's someone here who can help me. And I just want to also emphasize for everybody the basic story when we started, that start early, don't wait, start moving, get your act together, get a first meeting, get appointments, get moving on things. Number one. And, number two, that if you have any queries, then you know where to reach out. And also you could reach out to us if needed, but we wanted to share with you that we've got experts who we've partnered with, and you can really reach out to them for any questions that you have at any point in time.
Thank you, everyone. I'll be sending an email to everyone with all your details, Sharmila, and
Thank you.
along with your
I,
IDs and
I
contact
look
details.
forward to talking to people one-on-one, because then I can answer and help specific to your individual requirements.
Wonderful.
Lastly, I just wanted to add this one note. See, a lot of things this year and last year are up in the air because of COVID, right? We don't know what will happen. So just wanted to reassure you all that we may not have all the answers, and even Sharmila and Nani may not immediately have all the answers, but we're there to help you. And like they said, that once you sign up, then they're there to support you, just like us. So a lot of people over here are people who are working with us already. So you've seen that with us, and you'll get the same level of commitment from them. And I really hope that things work out for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Richa. Thanks, Ankit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharmila.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you
Guys.
too. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Richa, and thank you, Ankit.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.